Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Nimisha Jadhav from School of Studies Environmental Chemistry, Jivaji University, Gwalior. Today we are going to discuss about a module Analysis of Chemical Parameters of Soil Part 2 under the paper of Environmental Analysis. The learning objective of this module including the determination of soil conductivity, then the determination of organic contents of the soil and calcium carbonate, and the determination of extractable sulfate sulfur in the soil sample. So first one, we are taking the number one topic, that is the measurement of electrical conductivity in the soil. The electrical conductivity is known as the presence of ion when we place the sample in between the electrode. Then the ions that are present in the solution, when we apply the potential, then the ions are ionized that are present in the sample, and they migrate from one electrode to second one electrode, like anode to cathode or the cathode to anode. This is known as conductivity. In the salted soils, they are classified on the basis of two criteria. The one is on the basis of total soluble salt that contains, and the another one is the exchangeable sodium percentage, or more recently sodium absorption ratio. So the ions in the water conduct electrical current. Therefore, electrical conductivity is fast, simple method of estimating amount of soluble salt in soil sample. The electrical conductivity is expressed in decisiemens per meter. It is the procedure or the method is almost similar that the electrical conductivity that we are measured in the water sample. Now we discuss here about the principle of electrical conductivity in soil. The electrical conductivity of water extract of soil gives a measure of soluble salt content of the soil. Pure water is very poor conductor of electric current, whereas water containing the dissolved salts in soil conducts current approximately in proportion to the amount of soluble salts present. Based on this fact, the measurement of electrical conductivity of an extract gives a satisfactory indication of the total concentration of ionized constituents. The conductivity of the soil is the specific conductivity at 25 degrees centigrade of water extract obtained from a soil and water mixture of a definite ratio. It is measured on a conductivity meter and normally reported as in decisiemens per meter or millimoles per centimeter, and the value gives information on the total amount of the soluble salts present in soil, that is on the degree of salinity. The apparatus used for this purpose including digital conductivity meter, conductivity cell, glass beaker of 100 ml capacity, and the glass rod. The reagents required for the analysis of electrical conductivity in soil including 0.01 normal potassium chloride solution for the standardization of conductivity meter. For that, it is prepared by dry a small quantity of AR grade potassium chloride at 60 degrees centigrade for 2 hours. Then weigh 0.7456 gram of it and dissolve in freshly prepared distilled water and make to the 1 liter. Then the standard KCl solution. Now we discuss here about the procedure of determination of conductivity in a soil sample. For that, first of all, we have to calibrate the conductivity cell with the help of standard potassium chloride solution and determine the cell constant. For the sample, the soil water suspension of 20 gram is prepared. For that, 50 ml ratio prepared for the determination of pH can also be used for conductivity measurements. After recording the pH, allow the soil water suspension in the beaker to settle for additional half an hour. After the calibration, dip the conductivity cell in the supernatant liquid of the soil water suspension. Then read the conductivity of the test solution in proper conductance range. Then remove the cell from the soil suspension, clean with distilled water and dip into the beaker of distilled water. This electrical conductivity is expressed as decisiemens per meter. Then dip the conductivity cell in distilled water when it is not in use. Record the temperature of the soil water suspension during the test. Now the calculation of the electrical conductivity is done. First of all, the cell constant K is given by the equation ECE25 is equal to ECT into K into FT, where ECE25 is the conductivity of the extract at 25 degrees centigrade, then known conductivity of 0.01 normal KCl, that is K, and conductivity of 0.01 normal KCl measured. For the calculation of electrical conductivity in a soil sample, it is calculated by the equation, that is the electrical conductivity at the rate 25 is equal to ECT into K, where K is the cell constant or determined by the known conductivity of 0.01 normal KCl. ECT is the electrical conductivity of the soil suspension solution, and the EC25 is the conductivity of the extract at 25 degree centigrade. Now here we are discussing about the ratings of electrical conductivity in decisiemens per meter. The electrical conductivity in the range of 0 to 1 shows the good soil, and if the electrical conductivity in between the 1 to 2 represents the poor seed emergence. If the electrical conductivity in between the 2 to 4, it is harmful to some crops, for example pulses. And if the conductivity is more than 4, then it is harmful to most of the crops. The next parameter of the soil is the determination of organic carbon in the soil sample. Besides its value as a source of plant nutrient, organic matter has a favorable effect upon the soil physical property. That's why it is very much essential to determine the organic carbon content of the soil to check its fertility. The organic matter also contains the informable effective of exchangeable sodium or on the soil particles, and the determination of organic carbon in soil serves the indirectly as the measurement of the available nitrogen. The organic matter content of a typical well-drained mineral soil is low, varying from 1 to 6% by weight in the topsoil and even the less in the subsoil. The influence of organic matter on the soil property and consequently on the plant growth is far greater than even though the percentage of the organic matter is less in the soil. Now we are discussing here about the Walkley and the Black method of determining organic carbon in the soil sample. The organic carbon is oxidized with potassium dichromate in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. Potassium dichromate produces nascent oxygen which combines with the carbon of organic matter to produce carbon dioxide. The excess volume of potassium dichromate is titrated against the standard solution of ferrous ammonium sulfate in presence of phosphoric acid, using ferroin as an indicator to detect the first appearance of unoxidized ferrous iron, and thus the volume of potassium dichromate can be found out, which is actually required to oxidize the organic carbon. The reaction involved shows that the potassium dichromate, when react with the 8 molecule of sulfuric acid, then they produce 2 K2SO4 plus 2 Cr2SO4 का whole thrice plus 8 H2O plus 3 carbon plus 6 oxygen and carbon dioxide. So by this reaction, we can find out that the potassium dichromate is totally converted into potassium sulfate and chromium sulfate, and it removes the 3 carbon atom which is identified as an organic carbon present in the soil sample. The apparatus required for this purpose including the conical flask of 500 ml, pipettes of different capacity like 2, 10 or 20 ml capacity, then burette of 50 ml capacity, volumetric measuring flask of 1 liter capacity or other numbers, then the reagent bottle or asbestos sheet. The reagent required for this analysis including the 1 normal potassium dichromate solution. It is prepared by dissolving 49.04 AR grade potassium dichromate dry in the distilled water and make up to the volume to 1 liter. Then the second reagent is the concentrated sulfuric acid, which contain a specific gravity of 1.84 and it is 96% pure. If the soil contains chloride, then 1.25% silver sulfate may be added to the sulfuric acid to reduce the interference of chloride ion. Then the orthophosphoric acid is used, which contain a specific gravity of 1.75 and it is 85% pure. Then the next one is sodium fluoride. Next is 0.5 normal ferrous ammonium sulfate solution as a titrant, and ferroin indicator is used to indicate the endpoint. Now we come to the procedure part. For the determination of total carbon in a soil sample, first of all, we have to weigh a 1 gram of 0.5 millimeter sieved soil into dry 500 ml conical flask. Then add 10 ml of potassium dichromate into the flask with pipette and swill. Then add rapidly with a burette 20 ml concentrated H2SO4 and swill gently until soil and reagents are mixed, then more vigorously for the 1 minute. Then allow the reaction to proceed for 30 minutes on asbestos sheet to avoid the burning of table due to release of intense heat due to the reaction of sulfuric acid. Then add slowly 200 ml of distilled water, 10 ml of concentrated orthophosphoric acid and add about 0.2 gram of sodium fluoride, that is 1 small teaspoon, and allow the sample to stand for 1.5 hours. The titration endpoint is clear in a cooled solution. Then just before the titration, add 1 ml ferroin indicator into the conical flask. Then titrate the solution with the excess K2Cr2O7, that is potassium dichromate, with the 0.5 normal ferrous ammonium sulfate till the color flashes from yellowish green to greenish and finally brownish red at the end point. Simultaneously, blank test is run without the soil sample. The calculation of percent total carbon is done by the equation B minus S into N into 0.03 into 100 divided by weight of soil, where B is the ml of standard 0.5 normal ferrous ammonium sulfate required for the blank, then S is the ml of standard 0.5 normal ferrous ammonium sulfate required for the soil sample, and N is the normality of the standard ferrous ammonium sulfate, that is of 0.5 normal. The correction factor 1.3 is multiplied as according to the Walkley and the Black method only estimated 77% carbon available value. The result can be converted to the corrected total carbon by multiplying the factor 100 divided by 77, that is 1.3. The soil organic matter contains 58% of the organic carbon, and the percentage of organic carbon multiplied by 100 divided by 58, that is 1.724, which gives the percentage of organic matter present in the soil. So the organic matter is equal to the organic carbon into multiplied by factor, that is 1.724. The percent organic carbon present in the soil less than 0.2, that is, this amount is very low for the field. Then if it is present in 0.21 to 0.40, that is denoted the low percent concentration of organic carbon. If it is present within the range of 0.41 to 0.60, that it is present in a moderate percentage in the soil. If it is present in between the 0.61 to 0.8, then it is the concentration of percentage organic carbon is moderately high, and if it is present between the 0.81 to 1, that consider the high amount of percent organic carbon in the soil sample, and more than 1, it is very much high and it is highly fertile, considered as a highly fertile soil for the agriculture purposes. The next parameter that we are going to discuss here is the determination of calcium carbonate or the free lime in soil. The alkaline earth carbonates that occur in significant amount in the soil consist of calcite, dolomite and possibly magnesite, and occurs commonly in the silt size fraction. These influence the texture of the soil when present in appreciable amount. These are important constituents of alkali soils, and they constitute a potential source of calcium and the magnesium. The lime aids in preserving soil structure and may serve as a source of calcium in the reclamation of the alkali soil. The zonal soils of arid region usually contains accumulation of lime at some point in the profile. The calcareous soils contain an accumulation of calcium and the magnesium carbonate in varying proportion throughout the soil profile. In the calcareous soil, if the calcium carbonate is present in problematic amount, then the improvement may be done by drainage of subsoil for breaking the hard pan formed due to the calcium carbonate accumulation at the lower depth and leaching. The acid forming substances like sulfur, ferrous sulfate, aluminum sulfate may also used that followed by the leaching. The method of determining calcium carbonate including the acid neutralization method. In this method, the soil is treated with an excess of standard hydrochloric acid destroying carbonates. The amount of excess acid is determined by titration with the standard sodium hydroxide after separation from the soil by filtration or the centrifugation. The acid dissolves a certain amount of iron and aluminium from oxides and soil materials, and these metals are precipitated as hydroxide when the pH rises towards the end of the filtration with alkali. The amount of acid destroyed in dissolving the metal is equivalent to the amount of alkali used to precipitate, and their hydroxide, so no error arises this source. However, acid is lost by reaction with primary minerals. The alkaline soil of high pH also destroy some acid through neutralization by sodium carbonate. The apparatus required for this including the glass beaker 100 ml, conical glass flask of 250 ml, glass funnel, volumetric flask of 100 ml capacity, and earthenware flask of 150 ml capacity. The reagent required for the calcium carbonate determination in soil including hydrochloric acid 1 normal. It is prepared by dissolving 89 ml of concentrated hydrochloric acid in distilled water and make up to 1 liter. Then the working solution of hydrochloric acid of 0.2 normal is prepared by taking 25 ml of 1 normal HCl and dilute to the 100 ml. Then the solution of sodium hydroxide of 0.2 normal is prepared by dissolving 8 gram of sodium hydroxide in distilled water and make up to the volume of 1000 ml. Then potassium hydrogen thalate of 0.2 normal is prepared by dissolving 4.084 gram of potassium hydrogen thalate in distilled water and make up to the volume of 100 ml. Now we come to the part of procedure. For the determination of calcium carbonate and soil, the preliminary tests are carried out on the soil to establish a rough idea of the amount of carbonate present from the degree of effectiveness effervescences with the dilute acid. Based on the degree of effervescences, the soil is taken for the analysis. They transfer the known amount of air-dried soil of 0.5 mm sieve to a 250 ml of conical flask and then carefully add 25 ml of 1 normal hydrochloric acid down from the side of the flask. Then cover with the watch glass and allow standing for 1 hour, swirling occasionally to mix the contents. Then transfer the mixture quantitatively to a 100 ml volumetric flask and make up to the volume with distilled water and mix it very well. Then filter through a dry filter paper into a dry flask. After that, transfer 20 ml of the clear liquid to a 150 ml earthenware flask and add a little distilled water and bring just to the boil. Then cool for a minute. After the cooling, add about 6 to 10 drops of bromothymol blue and titrate hot with 0.2 normal NaOH until the blue color persists for 30 seconds. Then run the blank simultaneously. For the blank, it is made by taking 25 ml of 1 normal HCl in 100 ml volumetric flask and diluting with distilled water up to the mark of 20 ml of this solution is taken as a blank for the titration with 0.2 normal NaOH. Then titrate 10 ml of 0.2 normal NaOH with 0.2 normal potassium hydrogen thalate using phenolphthalein indicator and determining the factor or the normality of NaOH. Now we come to the part of calculation. Let W be the moisture correction weight of the soil in gram and T is the volume in ml of the titration with zero point 0.2 normal sodium hydroxide. Since 20 ml of the liquid after reaction with the soil contains excess acid equivalent to T ml of zero point 0.2 normal NaOH, so 100 ml contain T ml of 1 normal excess acid. So the calculation is done by the equation, that is calcium carbonate percent in soil is equal to 5 in bracket blank minus T bracket close W into F, where F is the factor of zero point 0.2 normal NaOH and W is the weight of air dry soil after correcting the moisture percentage, and T is the volume in the ml of the titration with zero point 0.2 normal sodium hydroxide required. F is the exact normality of NaOH, that is 0.2, and this may be reported as an apparent calcium carbonate percentage or as a neutralizing value. The next parameter that we are going to discuss here is the extractable sulfate sulfur present in a soil sample. The sulfur exists in soil in the form of primary minerals such as sulfide minerals, pyrites and the marcasites like iron sulfide, then chalcopyrites, that's copper iron sulfide, and pyrohotite, that is sulfide, and as a component of soil organic matter. Over time, sulfur is released from these sources then contributes to the pool of sulfur available to the plants, such as the sulfate anions. The sulfate anions is easily absorbed by the clay and the iron and the aluminum oxide absorption increasing with the pH. The sulfate anion is formed in the soil solution with a major portion of this form existing primarily in the subsoil. Therefore, the depth of soil sampling will vary with the method and those parameters used to interpret the analytical data. The three extraction reagents for determining sulfate sulfur are the monocalcium phosphate of 500 mg of phosphate per liter capacity and zero point 0.5 molar ammonium acetate buffer of uh, 0.25 molar acetic acid and 0.01 molar calcium chloride extraction reagent or the method for the total and the soluble sulfate ions present in the soil. Now we are discussing here only monocalcium phosphate method because this method is most frequently used for the analysis of extracting sulfate sulfur. In this method, the extraction reagent used is calcium phosphate solution 500 mg of per liter. For that, weigh 2.03 gram of calcium phosphate into a 1000 ml volumetric flask and bring to volume with water. Now the extraction procedure is carried out by weighing 10 gram of air dried is greater than 10 mesh screened 2 mm soil into an extraction vessel. Then pipette out 25 ml extraction reagent into the flask and shake for 30 minutes. Then add 1 by 4 teaspoon or about 0.15 gram activated carbon, that is wash Darko G60 activated carbon with extraction reagent until free of measurable sulfate sulfur. Then rinse with water and oven dry. After that, store in a closed container and shake for an additional 3 minutes. Then filter and transfer a 10 ml of the aliquot of this solution into another flask for sulfate concentration determination. Now we come to the part of measurement procedure. For that, 10 ml aliquot of the extract taken in a flask, then add 1 ml seed solution and immediately swill the content. Then place the flask on magnetic stirrer and add 1 by 4 teaspoon or zero point 0.3 gram of barium chloride crystal and stir for about 1 minute. Then transfer an aliquot to a spectrophotometric tube or the cuvette and then read the absorbance using a calibrated UV visible spectrophotometer at 420 nanometer. So at the end of this module, we can conclude it that today we have learned about the determination of electrical conductivity in soil, as the ions in the water or the soil conduct the electrical current. Therefore, electrical conductivity is fast, simple method of estimating amount of total soluble salts in the soil sample. So that here we can discuss the whole method of determining electrical conductivity in the soil sample. Apart from this, we are also discuss here about the determination of carbonate ion present in the soil sample, as the alkaline earth carbonates that occur is significant amount in the soil, and these are important constituents of the alkali soils. They also constitute a potential source of calcium and magnesium, so that the determination of this carbonates ion is very much important in the soil sample. So we have go through whole the process of determining this calcium carbonates content present in the soil. Apart from this, we have also discussed here about the determination of organic content, as well as the last one is the sulfate sulfur extracted present in the soil sample. The determination of organic carbon in the soil serves the indirect measurement of the available nitrogen, and the sulfate or sulfate ion is an integral part of the soil, so that they can continue the sulfur cycle as a biogeochemical cycle, and also, as well as they are important constitute of developing a vegetation on the soil soil present on the earth surface. So here we can conclude it that we can understand about the determination of almost all the constituent present in the soil sample, that we can identify and characterized by using these methods. Thank you so much.